Hello and welcome to today's video. We're doing a one brand tutorial again. This time it's going to be all Wet n Wild products. I'm going to do a full face start to finish. I bought a bunch of stuff and I'm hoping that we'll be able to create a really nice look. I'm hoping to discover some products that I'm going to want to use again. I have high hopes on this brand. I had a couple of subscribers give me their recommendations and feedback on some of the Wet n Wild products. So I added some of those to my order. I picked some up. You can get these in store, online. It's going to be linked down below, everything that I'm going to use. I am excited to try this brand out. I have not used anything from Wet n Wild since 2015, 2016, whenever the Photo Focus Foundation first launched. That's the last time that I used anything from this brand. So I am coming into this with an open mind and I'm going to just share my thoughts along the way. So if that sounds good, continue watching and let's go ahead and get started. I picked up one of their primers. They do have some options to choose from. This is the Glass Correct in Brightening for a brighter complexion with some vitamin C. A lovely subscriber of mine had mentioned that she uses the green version. I'm assuming it's the Glass Correct. They do have serum primers, but none of them were green, so I think it was this line. I chose the Brightening for more brightening aspect. I always like a brighter complexion. Vitamin C sounds great. Has some skincare added to it, so I wanted to try this out, and I haven't swatched any of these products. Some of them still have the seal. I've taken things out of the box if they came in boxes, so I will show you what those look like so you can find them easily when you're looking at the Wet n Wild displays at your local retailers. Here's like a little close-up of what the product looks like. It seems to be kind of thick. I just did one little dollop and that's what came out. And it has a yellow tint to it. On the back of this product, it says skin looks naturally corrected and reflective as a crystal. So am I going to look super luminous and dewy? I don't know. And I'm going to lightly apply some of this primer with the Profusion Buffing Foundation FD1. Just to lightly apply this. The whole Glass Correct kind of worries me because I do produce oil in the T-zone and I don't know if this is going to make me look extra dewy. So I think by using a brush, I'm going to be able to get a just minimal amount of product onto my face. Next up is the Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. I had a few of you talk to me about this in the comment section and on my community tab. And I decided to go for this. I ordered the shade called Fair and I hope it's a good match. I'm not sure how this is going to look. I don't know what the coverage is going to be like. I think it's going to be more sheer because tinted hydrators or sheer kind of skin tints don't give a lot of coverage. So I think I'm going to continue using the foundation brush, but I also did order the Wet n Wild Beauty Sponge to use in case I wanted to try it out. But I think I'm going to start with the brush first and see how much coverage this gives me. On the back of this, I just started reading and it says it is a lightweight perfector that delivers hydrating benefits in a buildable sheer to medium tint for a flawless, softly luminous complexion. Sheer to medium, okay. I'm very much intrigued. If I could get medium coverage out of this, wow. I'm just gonna kind of doubt this because I did pick up too much on my brush and the shade seems like it's going to be okay. So the match seems to be pretty good. Now, if you've used this product, do you like it? Do you love it? Do you use a brush, a sponge? What's the best way to apply it to get the most coverage from this? Because I'm kind of, honestly, I'm curious. But it's going on really, really nicely, actually. And the fair shade seems to be okay. And it smells a little weird, but it's all right. It doesn't smell as bad as the Photo Focus Foundation. I don't know if they've changed the formula since they first launched it, but I remember saying in a video that it smelled like paint thinner, and that should have been a red flag for me because I reacted really badly to that. I'm taking one for the team today, and I hope I don't have a bad reaction. Please don't do me wrong, Wet n Wild, please. The coverage does seem quite nice. I don't know if maybe pushing this into the skin with a sponge would have been better. So I think what I'm going to do is try to layer this up just a little bit more in my cheeks because I do have some scarring from breakouts from years ago, really deep pitted type scars on this side and a little bit of scarring here, some like sunspots. So I do want to try building this up. So I think I'm going to go into the sponge and I may just use the bottom end of the sponge and just kind of bounce this in and see what happens. Next up is concealer. I picked up the Incognito concealer. This is a full coverage all day concealer. I had some issues with some of the shades online. I was trying to figure out, looking at some photos in store. I landed on Fair. I don't know if this is going to match, but we're going to use it because it's what I got. And this obviously, this looks really light. So I'm going to just tread softly. And I'm going to use the sponge to blend this in. So as I'm blending this in, it's blending in nicely. I don't think that I'm getting the full coverage that this is claiming to have. Maybe because of the sponge. They do tend to absorb some excess product, and it's just kind of my preferred method of using this kind of tool for concealer blending. But I think I'm going to try it again maybe another day with a brush. I picked up the Photo Focus Loose Powder, and this is just the translucent shade. I think this comes in 2 different shades if memory serves me right on the website. But I picked up the translucent one, and I have yet to use it. It still has the little seal on it, so I'm going to peel this off with my tweezers. And I'm going to set my under eye, and I think I may even try baking with it. Who knows? This may be the next greatest thing, right? I've got it on my sponge. I basically put it into the cap and just press my sponge in there. And I'm using the rounded side, and the flat edge is going to be a little bit more of a better grip for me. And I'm just going to push this right on top of that concealer. And I'm going to use a puff sponge. I don't have one from this brand. I don't think that they make a velour puff, so I'm going to use the one from e.l.f., which is just a couple bucks. Again, it's within that Wet n Wild price point. And I'm going to pick up some more of this. And I'm going to kind of, like I said, bake with this. And I'm going to put some more, kind of scraping off the excess. And it's getting everywhere. And I'm going to push this pretty heavily right in here. And as I've said before, if you put too much on and you feel like you're doing it wrong, you're probably baking correctly. While the bake sits, we're going to move on to brows. I picked up the Retractable Brow Pencil in the shade Medium Brown. And it's got a triangular tip to it, which is nice. Reminds me of some of the more high-end ones that have that sort of teardrop shape. And I'm also going to set the brows with the Wet n Wild Brow Sessive Brow Shaping Gel. So here's one brow, pretty much almost all the way filled in, and then nothing. So I think the shade is right. I like it. It has a bit of a waxy type of consistency. So I feel like as I am combing through the brows, I can kind of feel that there's something in the hair. So it's kind of keeping them in shape and exactly where I want them placed, which is nice. I'm just using a little bit of that Brow Sessive Gel. It says clear, but it comes off looking a little bit more white. The pencil seems to be okay. It's not my favorite so far. I feel like when I go through this with the spoolie, it sort of starts to lift that waxy consistency. And I'm so used to having like a pen to really go in and pinpoint some areas that I have some bald spots, like right in through here. So I feel like because I don't have that from this brand, it's going to have to stay this way. It's not terrible, but it's not like my most favorite brow pencil. And up next is bronzer, and I picked up 2 of the Color Icon bronzers. I was recommended by a lovely subscriber to pick up the shade Sunset Striptease, so I bought it. And then I saw What Shady Beaches, so I bought that too. Okay, so I am just going to start with the lighter one. The Striptease is softer and lighter. They both have a sheen to it, but Striptease is a little bit more shimmery looking than the What Shady Beaches. This one is a little bit deeper. So I kind of had the summer months in mind when I get a little bit more color. The deeper one may do me right then. So I'm going to show you up close what these look like. This is What Shady Beaches. This one is Sunset Striptease. I'm going to start with the lighter of the 2, and I'm going to use my blush brush from Real Techniques. It's the number 400. Looks like this, nice and fluffy. There is quite a bit of kick up, so I will show you that in case you've never tried this before. When I put my brush in there, it sort of kicked up a lot of product. Just adding in some more color, and I can see that shade definitely showing up. I thought it was going to be kind of light when I saw it in person, so I thought, you know what, let's just pick up a deeper shade too. But I think that this is going to be just fine. This one has a little less kick up when I put the same brush into the pan. Just wanting to show that, FYI. And I'm going to tread softly because this looks scary. I am known to go overboard with my bronzers on the daily. Okay? I like my bronze look. I picked up 2 of the Color Icon blushes. One says Nude on it, and it's the shade Bed of Roses. And then I picked up Mellow one, which seems to be just a little bit deeper. And I thought I would just try 2 shades since I'm already there looking at the selection. I might as well pick up 2 colors. And I think I'm going to start with Bed of Roses, which is the newest addition to their line. Here's the shade Bed of Roses. And here is Mellow Wine. Peachy with a hint of pink in it, so slightly corally, but not too peach and not too rose. It's kind of just right. And I'm going to tap this in with an Equal Tools. This is a Define brush that I've had for years actually, and it's really good. And I reach for this so often. Such a good quality brush. And I like the fact that this blush is matte because the Sunset Striptease bronzer has some shimmer in it, and I can see the sheen on my skin, so I want to balance that out and kind of tone that down with a bit of a matte formula over the top. So I'm glad that this doesn't have any shimmer. 2 seems to be the name of the game. I picked up 2 of their highlighters. This is a product that I have used many, many years ago when I used to use a lot of drugstore products and only could afford that when I was in college. And I remember using a pressed highlighter from Wet n Wild. I don't remember the shade, but I picked up 2 colors, Blossom Glow and Precious Petals. One is like an icy cool pink, and the other one is a little bit deeper, more of a kind of golden champagne. So I'm feeling kind of like the icy vibes, right? I'm going to apply this with the Wet n Wild fan brush. I added this to my online order because I don't have a fan brush in my collection that I like. And I just wanted to see. It's a couple bucks. And I thought, you know what, this could actually work. And it is. It's applying the product nicely. It's kind of hard sometimes with fan brushes because you see how big it is to highlight the nose. But I'm going to try to just take some of the product in the center of the brush just to go on the tip of the nose and down the center of the bridge of the nose. I'm going to use the flat setting brush from Profusion to build this highlighter up. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. This is more my speed. I have 2 of the 10 Pan Color Icon palettes. I picked both of these up because I could not decide, and I thought these are only 10 bucks, so I might as well. So here we are. I have the shade called Nude Awakening, and then the deeper, more smoky one is the Lights Off version. So the only experience that I've had with the Wet n Wild eyeshadows is, again, we're talking back 2010, 2011. That was the Walking on Eggshells when it was a trio. Now, when I saw it online and in person, the Walking on Eggshells is, I think, a 5-pan, if memory serves me right. And that's totally different than what I remember it being, which is cool. They've changed it. I don't know if the formula is improved. We're going to find out if the formula is different, but we're going to start off with the Nude Awakening. Here's the color icon in Nude Awakening, the color icon in Lights Off. Before I start the eyeshadow look, I'm going to take a little bit of the Photo Focus loose powder to set my lids just to help prevent creasing because I did not pick up a primer for eyeshadow. I don't know if Wet n Wild makes one. I'm going to use the Profusion Large Blending Eyeshadow ES1 brush, and I'm going to dip into this shade right here. And I'm going to use this color to build my crease and just follow the natural shape of my eye, taking the brush back and forth in that windshield wiper motion. And this is blending out so much better than I thought. Okay, so we are off to a good start, and that makes me so happy. I'm going to switch to the Firm Blending Eyeshadow ES2 brush from Profusion, which is a little smaller, a little bit more tapered, to be a little bit more precise and control where I'm placing this color because I'm going to go into one of the deeper shades. And I'm going to take a little bit of this shade here, which is a nice kind of cool tone, dark brown. And I'm going to pat this color on the outer edge to deposit the color from my brush to my lids. And then I'm going to start sweeping it into my crease. And I'm only going softly because I don't know the intensity of this color. And I'm going to keep that initial blending brush handy with nothing on it to help me with the blend on this darker shade. But that is applying quite nicely. I'm going to continue building and blending. I'm going to take some more of that first shade that I used to help me blend because that color does have some pigment. I was not expecting to have such an intense smoky eye today. It's good. It's all good. We're just going to use these shades and make it work, but there is some pigment with that cool tone brown. So tread softly. I'm taking that same light shade with a small pointed brush from Profusion and applying that to my lower lashes. And it's kind of like a combination, this brush, between a really thin crease brush and a pencil brush. It's really nice. And I recently washed all of my Profusion brushes, so I'm so happy to have them because they've been in my dirty brush pile for quite some time, and they're actually very good brushes. To deepen this up a little bit more, I'm going to take that same dark brown, but I'm literally just going to do a little bit because I don't want to look crazy today. I'm going to take a little bit of that darker shade really close and tight to the root of my lashes. And I'm only going to go right out here from the outer corner, probably about halfway. Again, going back into that crease brush, just holding it upright and using the very tips of the bristles to blend this a little bit more so I don't have to dirty a bunch of brushes. I'm just going to use the ones that I've been using. For my lids, I'm going to start with this rose gold shade here. You have a couple of options, a light ivory, two kind of rose gold shades, one that's a little bit more copper, and then you can even do this one here that's a little bit more of a deeper kind of shimmery plum, but I'm going to do the rose gold. And I'm going to use a Real Techniques Instapop brush for this step, and I'm going to apply that pretty much all the way. I'm going to leave this inner part bare because I want to use one of the lighter shades just to incorporate some more from this palette, as many as I can. Then I'm going to wipe off that brush really well, and I'm going to go into the lighter shade. I'm going to take this ivory color here, and that's going to go into the inner part of my eye. For just a little bit more pop of color, I think I'm going to go into the coppery shimmer because this one here, the rose gold one, isn't giving me as much oomph that I wanted. So I'm going to take some of that with the same brush, and I'm going to pat this pretty much right where the line meets with that rose gold and that deeper shade. I want to kind of disguise that line a little bit, and I'm going to just kind of press this copper shade right over the top. And it is giving me just a little bit more color. As you can see, hopefully there is a difference. There's a little bit more warmth to this eye. And I think I like the payoff and pigment on this shade better. For my inner corner highlight, I'm going to use this light ivory shade here with a flat, precise eyeshadow ES7 brush from Profusion. And I'm going to use that as my brow bone highlight as well. One of the other items that I picked up from this line was the Breakup Waterproof Liquid Liner, and I picked the shade Brown. So I don't know, we'll try it out and see the tone of brown if it's going to go with the dark color. I may need to go over this with some of the deeper shades in the eyeshadow palette, but that's the only liner that I ordered. And then I also picked up the Wet n Wild So Define Volumizing and Defining Mascara. This had a new written on the packaging, so I decided to go for this versus some of the other ones. The wand is a bit stiff, and it's a plastic wand with a bit of a curve to it. So this liner went on really easily, nice and smooth. The color is actually darker on than what it looks like. The pen is more of a chocolate brown, whereas the actual ink formula is more of a black brown type shade. So I like the fact that it is darker, and it's going to work with this eye look. So I'm applying the mascara, and I do feel like the wand is quite big for my eye shape. And I don't see that it's giving me a lot of lift and a lot of volume. The formula is a little bit more wet as well, so it's not separating as well as I would like. Now, this is a brand new tube, so it could get better as it sits. Here's the completed eye with 2 coats of the mascara. I feel like the second coat was a little bit better. I do think that it made the lashes kind of clumpy because the formula is more wet than I prefer. So it's not my favorite. It's not the absolute worst mascara by any means that I've used, but it's just not one that I would probably use again. Maybe I'll try it, give it some time to kind of sit and hang out in my collection and see what happens. Sometimes they get better, sometimes they don't. So we'll just see. But I do want to show you this other highlighter that I did not get a chance to use. And it's the MegaGlo Highlight Stick. And so I purchased the shade When the Nude Strikes. And this looks like a really pretty kind of icy pink. So I thought, why don't we just layer it? and see what happens. I'm gonna go straight in. So the formula does feel like it kind of tugs a little bit when I'm applying it, but I like the color. I like the iciness of it. I like how easy it is to just add this on. I feel like I have quite a bit of glow. Like, whoa. Whoa on the glow, okay? Whoa on the glow. Moving on to today's lip combo. I bought a couple of different lip products. Let's start with the gel liners. This is their first ever gel liner formula, so I picked up 2 shades. The Lay Down the Mauves and Bear to Comment. So I thought these would be 2 like good everyday type of shades. I have used these many, many years ago when I was in college, and I think they were like $1, $2 max. They're a couple bucks more now, but I picked up 2 shades. The Pink Champagne Please, which is the shimmer. And then the cream one is the Snuggle Sesh. I also picked up 2 other lipstick type products. The first one is the High Shine Brilliance lipstick in the shade Rosé and Slay. This was actually a recommendation from one of my lovely subscribers. She said this was one of her favorites. So I picked this up and I like the packaging. The clear window is a nice added detail. The little lip on the outside is kind of cute, isn't it? And then I also picked up the Soft Blur Matte Lipstick. I don't do matte lips hardly ever because I'm not a fan. So I thought I'd give it a try, and I picked up one color in the Nude for Love. Soft Matte Lipstick in Nude for Love. This is the High Shine Brilliance in Rosé and Slay. Let's start with the gel liner. And let's do that matte lip in the Nude for Love. Ooh, it smells like vanilla. Ooh, like vanilla cupcake batter. That smells so good. And this is the matte lip over the lip liner. I will have to say this does feel really soft, very cushiony, doesn't feel dry, feels kind of velvety. So I do like this. I don't know if it's gonna dry out my lips and look more dry as it stays on my lips for the next couple of hours. Stay tuned, I will let you guys know if that ends up being the case. But so far, I do like that color and I like the feel of it. I do want to add a little bit of gloss, so let's add a little bit of a sheen to it with the Pink Champagne Please. And here is the lip with the gloss on top. I actually think that they've changed the formula and made them so much better than what I remember them being. So I am super impressed by that gloss. I like the feel of it. And I don't see a lot of the sparkle. I thought it was going to be a lot more metallic, which is good because I don't know how I would feel with a metallic lip for the day, but I do like how it sort of added that glossy look to the lip. It defeats the point of using a matte, but I like this color on its own and I like this formula. Here's lip option number 2. Started off with the gel lip liner in Laying Down the Mauves and the High Shine Brilliance lipstick in Rosé and Slay. Which lip combo do you prefer? Final step is the Natural Finish Setting Spray. Ooh, that mister, that's a goodie. I'm gonna push that in. And that's it. What do you think? How did I do? I'm actually impressed. Call me impressed here, okay? I'm going to definitely play around with some of these products in the future. I'm going to use them in more upcoming drugstore type videos where I use a mix of different brands. But this was actually fun to try these products out and to just rediscover this brand. I definitely have some standouts and I wanted to share those with you before I let you go. Some standouts so far, I would say I'm impressed with the Tinted Hydrator. I got more coverage out of this than I was expecting. I will be playing around with that some more though, because I think it's one of the better skin tints that I've tried thus far. The actual powder itself, the Photo Focus Loose Powder, was nice. It did its job to set my under eyes and it did go over the pores and blur them out and made them look a little bit softer. So I like that. The blush was pigmented, the bronzer, the eyeshadow was much more pigmented than I expected, except for that kind of rose gold shade. But we made it work and the look turned out to be a lot smokier than I expected or anticipated for today, but I like it and I'm here for it. The only thing that I will have to say that I don't really care for is the mascara, and I can tell you that with confidence that I don't really care for this at all. I will try it again and give it another shot. I'm gonna let it hang out for maybe another week and see what happens. The other product that was kind of meh was the retractable brow pencil, and I think I'm going to try using a little bit of translucent powder first, just to kind of get rid of any oils or any foundation, anything that's on my skin there, and then go in with it. It might give me a better result. But today I feel like the more I added and combed through, the more it lifted off. So it's doable, but it's not my favorite from the drugstore. I think there are other better options. I had so much fun. I hope you had fun watching this video today. What are your favorite products from Wet n Wild? What brands should we do next? I've got so much product that I've ordered and that I've picked up at my local Target and Ulta stores. So I have so much coming up for drugstore content. Subscribe so you don't miss out when those videos get posted. And let me know what your favorite brands are from the drugstore, your favorite products. We've got so much good stuff coming up and I cannot wait to share those with you. Follow me on Instagram so you stay tuned whenever I start working on those videos and post a video. You get notified there. It's always here on the screen. Thanks for being here, for watching. Take care, you guys, and we'll talk very soon. Bye-bye.